Hello and welcome back to what's likely to be the final chapter of Burden of Proof. Last time we were unfortunately unable to get our client off, but it was less because of our own abilities and because the judge seemed to be calling for it to be the end already. How odd that it's almost as if the entire court had been against us from the start. Seems corruption's possible, but for the moment, while our client may be over, the case is absolutely not. So we were going back to another scene of the crime, another scene during the crime, trying to figure out what we can find. Nothing, not a clue in sight, other than the blood there. But that wasn't the case. It was a waste of time for me to go here. Oh, my phone. Hello? Conrad, they wouldn't let me file a report. What went wrong? I don't have a valid reason for retrial. Valid reason? Retrials can only take place if there was something unfair about the first one. I think there's anything that would invalidate Fletcher's sentence. The judge. The judge? The reason. But the judge was not himself. That is true, after all. But couldn't that get in trouble? Yes, and rightfully so. He declared the defendant guilty without very much evidence. I understand. File the report and let me know how it went. I think I just found something that could help our case. It's a knife. Could it be? Ah, it's identical to the ones in the security room. If our last theory was correct, this could be the murder weapon. I'll hold on to it for now. We need to get this scanned for fingerprints. Now there's just one thing I have to check. Oh, there was an officer on the bridge. I guess that would make sense. Looks like everything's finally set up. Confirm, log in. Let's hope this works. Welcome back, Sarah. Conrad, the current user is Conrad. Confirmed. Hello, Conrad. Surely is voice controlled. Computer, run the help function. Feel free to call me ACE. That is short for Autonomous Case Evaluation. Case Evaluation. My programming allows for deep learning and the ability to rewrite core functions. In other words, I learn by processing examples. A detailed manual can be found in the Documents folder. ACE, what kind of hardware are you running on? I'm currently running on a desktop with 16 CPU cores and 8 GB VRAM. Current user is logged in from a remote device. That matches the computer in Fletcher's apartment alright, so I guess I really am running a program. ACE, do you know what you were designed to do? Affirmative. I'm to pass judgment on the accused. Please provide me with a detailed description of the court case. So that's it. This is a digital judge. Fletcher's big project was a computer program. This is the AI Fletcher was working all this time. I hooked up a wireless connection that leads to her apartment. This tablet's running her computer at range. ACE, your learning process isn't complete. Correct. I require more case studies. The current target is military court hearings. And that means... do you know about the zero data? Yes, that item should be sufficient to complete the learning process. That's why Fletcher wanted the zero data, because it contains top-secret military records, and ACE needs those in order as examples for rewriting its code. ACE, what other useful functions you have? Mathematical computation, sorting, physical simulation, network analysis, encryption, GPS tracking, video encoding, 3D rendering. Hold on, GPS tracking. I can locate long-distance targets through satellite communications. Which satellites? That information is classified. How did Fletcher have access to that? ACE, what targets can you locate? Buildings, vehicles, cell phones, individuals. Wait. How can you locate individuals? I have a database of users who receive GPS implants for satellite tracking. ACE, can you search that database for Sarah Fletcher? Locating. Miss Fletcher is currently at the town center in the courthouse. Fletcher has a GPS implant. What other information do you have on Sarah Fletcher? Searching. I found over 500 results. Do you want me to relay the most relevant ones? Yes. Sarah Fletcher, age 25, gender female, height around 1.7 meters. At 17, Sarah won an international competition in programming. It's earned her scholarships around the country. At 21, she was moved to an accelerated program in criminal justice. Within several months, Sarah graduated and moved directly to a government position. Which position? That information classified. At age 23, she was involved with a hostage incident in the city. She was accused of murder, was proven innocent by Conrad Cross. However, her criminal record continues. At 24, Sarah was the prime suspect in a bank robbery incident. Becoming a wanted criminal, she evaded the police several times. Recent circumstances led to her arrest. Sarah was convicted of murder earlier today. The victim was William Vilmar, who was stabbed in the sewers under the airport. Would you like to hear her comprehensive medical records? That's enough, ACE. This machine, it's so cold. It's talking about its creator as if she was just a statistic, a piece of information. Ace, what branch of government did Fletcher work for? Let me clarify, Miss Fletcher does not hold an administrative position. Her role might be better described as an agent or operative. You speak about her job as if it hasn't been terminated. Surely after being a wanted criminal, they would have disbanded her? Negative, Sarah still holds her position. I'm starting to get a bad feeling about this. Search your database for Gray Nail. Searching. I found over 700 results. I just need to know one thing. Does Nail work for the same division as Fletcher? Analyzing. Yes, he does. That's it. This was all just a charade. Ace, locate Gray Nail. Mr. Nail is currently at these coordinates. Why is he there? I need to talk to Nail. He has the answers. I need him to tell me what's really going on. But first, Ace, I need you to locate Conrad Cross. Locating. Mr. Cross is currently in the Cross Law Offices building. Ace, did you know it was me? I never assume users to be who they claim to be. I simply search my database for GPS signals and request information from the satellite. Then does that mean you found Conrad Cross through the GPS implants? That is correct. That can't be. When did I don't have implants, though. Ace, find Chloe McCarthy. Locating. That name is not in my database, so it's just me. But why? Try to find Kate Flocking. That name is not in my database. This doesn't make any sense. Fletcher, Nail, and I all have implants, but no one else. I don't have time for this. I need to get to Nail. Ace, I'm powering you down for now. I'll bring this tablet with me so I can ask you more questions if I need to. Acknowledge. Entering sleep mode. Alright, Nail, it's time for the truth. This is not the best position. He could attack us, or he could make sure that he dies with us as the fall guy. But we don't have a choice. We need answers one way or another. Conrad, what are you doing here? I could ask you the same thing. You lost today. You should have given up when you had the chance. It's not over. It's far from over. The counselors gave their verdict. Fletcher will be imprisoned. I'm submitting a request for a retrial. What? A retrial? The judge was clearly biased. There wasn't enough evidence to prove her guilt or innocence. No, Conrad, you don't understand. This case cannot be tried again. Something's not adding up. Why is he acting like this? Just give up. The process for retrial is complex. It could make her punishment worse. You're not telling me the whole truth, Nail. Was that trial a show? What? That's it, wasn't it? You and Fletcher have some agenda. Now you're talking nonsense. What's the division you two work for? When you were disguised as Ram, you said you worked for the government, but which part? Some secret division? The police? Do you really work for our country at all? Fine, don't answer. What I know is that Fletcher begged me for help. She needed us to run a fair trial, and we failed her. Then why did she dismiss you? You clearly weren't doing everything in your power, even when she saw the situation was hopeless. No, she was trying to protect me. Think back to what the judge said. He was about to put my badge in question. Fletcher fired me because I would have continued. I would have risked my badge to prove her innocence. You delude yourself. It doesn't matter now. We have more important things to discuss. Why do I have a GPS implant? You're not... Answer the question. It always secrets with you, isn't it? Your persona is built on lies. You hold so much that I'm not even sure if you've ever really been a mentor to me. I taught you everything you needed to know to become prosecutor. You let yourself down by becoming a defense attorney. Well, I don't regret my decision, but you didn't teach me everything. I'm sorry. The questions that really mattered, I didn't have answers to. What takes precedence, the law, or my duty as an attorney? Is it always right to punish the guilty? How do we really know if someone's guilty or innocent? Conrad. Does everyone really deserve a defense in court? Nothing I could say could ever teach the answers to those questions. Furthermore, everyone's answers are going to be different. It's up to you to solve these problems in your own way. Without help and guidance? Really? I thought you were in a coma for 2 years, when instead you've just been playing games with these terrible people. Where were you when I struggled? Why didn't you tell me the truth? I don't know if I can ever tell you the whole story. I don't think anyone can. And start somewhere. Answer one question. GPS implant, why? We need to keep an eye on you. You were too involved with the Zero data. So you were tracking my location for how long? Since the hostage incident 1 year ago. A year? A whole year? I'm sorry. I don't even want to know how. If you know what's best for you, just stop asking questions. I don't need to ask any more. Good. Because I figured it out. What? This organization that both you and Fletcher belong to, they needed Fletcher to retrieve the Zero data, right? Because she was building Ace. How did you know about that? So Ace is really a project your whole group is involved with. Then why didn't you already have access to the Zero data? The project is only known to the highest important individuals. So you need to steal the data from yourself? And use Fletcher to take the blame? Conrad, now I understand. The data was sealed away after the 4 incident. There's no way the government would have allowed you to use it. That's why you had Fletcher construct Ace in secret. When the plan went wrong, you branded her as a criminal. She stayed her course even now. You still wrote the program after being betrayed by her employers. This plan's been in motion since the hostage incident a year ago. Nobody's allowed to know. That's why we had Fletcher go rogue. But that's true. Why'd you ask me to solve the robbery incident? Wouldn't that have just revealed your plan? No, that was our plan, or rather, the new plan. What? Something went wrong that day. The robbery turned to a murder. We set up a new plan that would expose Fletcher's crimes. True, it made her job a little more difficult. This provided an excuse to the employees at our organization. By having a team dedicated to tracking down Fletcher, it removed suspicion. In reality, our team did almost nothing. Are you saying that by solving the crime? If you hadn't found the truth, every branch of our government would have gone haywire. We'd have agents running around trying to find the culprit. As you can imagine, that would most likely interrupt our project. In addition, since Fletcher worked with us, everyone trusted us to the job. We all had all sorts of information on her. Not that we used it, of course. Was it really worth it to hide all this from your own government? So Fletcher was doing all this because her organization demanded it? I can't even believe that. We need the zero data, Conrad. We want to complete Ace's learning program. That was the goal all along, and now our distractions have finally been removed. Fletcher was convicted, which means their excuse is over, but her work is completed. All it needs is you have the last hard drive. Hand it over. Fletcher gave up everything for this, and lost her freedom in the process. She'll likely be in jail for the rest of her life. They want to make it their digital judge of reality. What do I want? Is this really what Fletcher wanted? I'm waiting. I have to make a choice. Alright, we're actually going to have to save, I thought this would create a new one. I still don't quite understand, but I can't let you have it that easily. I deserve an explanation. You won't be getting one. I've already said too much. And what are you going to do? Take it by force? If you don't give it to me, then you'll lose your attorney's badge. It's not possible for you to just take away that easily. You don't even know, do you? You've broken the law, Conrad. You don't remember? Oh, I guess you haven't realized it yet. Realized what? Don't you find some of your evidence to be too coincidental? What are you talking about? The blood stain on the antenna during the robbery case. You didn't think that was real, did you? Wait, Detective Dare? He doesn't know either. His investigation was so poor he didn't even have men guarding the roof. It made it very easy to plant some blood on the antenna during the trial. Of course, even that wasn't enough. I had to tell the inept detective to check the area. All I have to do is tell your superiors you planted it. Once they realize you've forged evidence to prove your client innocent, there'll be a retrial for Bridges and your badge will be under review. This is bad, I can't let him. All that could be avoided if you just hand over that hard drive. They likely have resources beyond count. Agents working with the police force, bribed officials. Just how much power do they have? Well, okay. I kind of want to load here to see what the other one does. I know this is a bit cheap given I've been trying to do this normally, but I think this is, since we know now that this decision doesn't actually matter, I'm curious. Are you going to respond or not? I can't afford to get in any trouble here. Alright, you can have it, but I deserve an explanation. You won't be getting one. I've already said enough. So that's how it is. I'm glad you're willing to cooperate. I was worried you might lose your attorney's badge with that attitude. Huh? It's not possible for you to just take it away that easily. You don't even know, do you? You've broken the law, Conrad. You don't remember? Oh, I guess you haven't realized it yet. Realized what? Oh, so either way he explains it. Doesn't know either. His investigation's so poor he didn't have men guarding the roof. Oh dang, poor Detective Dare. Made it quite easy to plant some blood on the antenna. No. Of course, even that wasn't enough. I had to tell the inept detective to check the area. To realize you used the forged evidence to prove your client innocent, there would be a retrial for Bridges, and your badge would be under review. Luckily, it doesn't have to come to that. He's right, by giving the hard drive, I'll be avoiding this scheme altogether. Guess I can't win. This organization, whatever it is, they likely have resources beyond count. Agents working within the police force, bribed officials. Just how much power do they have? Well... Alright, so yeah, it's the same. It's roughly the same no matter what. Thank you. I can't help Fletcher if I lose my badge. I'll have to play it safe for now. Besides, Fletcher wanted this, right? This is what she wanted. I'll be going now. Do yourself a favor and leave things as is. So I can ask for a retrial. There won't be a retrial. You won't see Fletcher again. I truly am sorry. I know you two are close. Hold on. Want to see her? There's too much of a rogue element to this point. We're taking her somewhere safe. Taking matters in their own hands. Now that she was convicted, they're not even going to let her in traditional jail. She knows too much. Wait, unless... You're not really detaining her, are you? She's too useful for you, so you're going to make her work while imprisoned. Sometimes your ability to theorize scares me, Conrad. Goodbye. Well, it's a lot better than guessing that they might be trying to execute her. Or maybe he thought that was a possibility and thought that maybe by suggesting that they'd think, oh, he's right, maybe we should keep her alive a little longer. Any chance of a retrial just crushed, it seems. At least she'll be productive during her time. I'm sure Nail has some sympathy. They won't treat her harshly. Sorry, Chloe, we've lost. Oh, there's an achievement for each of those choices. Let's see here. Alright, let me check real quick to see which of these was more popular, because I am genuinely curious. Alright, 12.1% of players chose to hand over the hard drive, 19.9% of players chose to keep the hard drive yourself. Obviously it doesn't matter, and will count me as the selfish one, as the 19.9. If you're wondering why it doesn't add to 100, it's because the Steam achievements just track how many people who have the game total have this. Or is it total people out of those who actually started the game? Long story, yeah, but basically, the further you get into a game, the less people have done it, because there's however many people that would quit partway through for any reason whatsoever. For this game, I can imagine either they didn't care for the story, or that perhaps they thought it was a bit too silly, or maybe they thought it was not silly enough, because it does actually get pretty real with these conspiracy theories. Really is peaceful out here. By that I mean it does get pretty tense. I mean, on the roof there, it was pretty rough. I probably would have taken a lot more time to think about that if I wasn't streaming this, but I wanted to keep going just to see how things played out. Well, that's a nice thing about streaming a game like this. Despite it being very linear, it does force me to be more decisive, or otherwise I might not be, or have trouble. Well, because I do get decision paralysis in games like this, I will be honest. So having a way to passively force myself to make a decision, good or bad, can be useful. What do I do now? Do I continue on my path? Am I really better suited as a prosecutor? My life I've been fighting crime. Today I just broke my own code. I defended a known criminal. Does that mean I'm not fit to be an attorney? I think in time I'll figure out the answer, but for now, I need to rest. I've had a long day, and Fletcher will be living her new life soon. It's too bad I didn't get a chance to say goodbye. This will be my goodbye. Hope I can see you again, Sarah. Thanks for playing. Wait, is that it? Oh, wow. I was expecting a whole other chapter here, or maybe... Or if not another court case, but... Dang. Upside down. Lead chapter 5. Dang. Wait. What am I saying? To hell with that, I can't let them do this. I can't give up, there must still be something I can do. I was gonna say, dang, was I right about there being a sequel? But no, it just said version update. Fixing mostly typos and glitches. If I don't act, Nail's just gonna take Fletcher away. I have to act fast, or else she could be locked up for good. I don't want to just leave things as is. It's too many stones unturned, too many things I have to ask. No, I won't give up. I'll find her. I have to think. Ah, because we took the tablet with us. Can you hear me, Ace? Affirmative. I need you to locate Sarah Fletcher. Locating. If I have no choice, I'll have to find her. Miss Fletcher is currently moving at a speed of 35 miles per hour north. She's already being transported. I have to get there fast. I started losing my mind. The fear took over. If I failed to intercept Fletcher, I wouldn't be able to see her again. She'd be locked away in some government facility, slaving away at projects. I couldn't let that happen. I couldn't let her face that alone. Ah, Sarah, I picked you. Ah, no fair. You totally cheated. Did not. Ow. Cheaters get what they deserve. Hey, it's just a game. Conrad, it's called justice. Don't you know? When you do something wrong, no matter how small, you go to jail. I don't think that's how it works. It's not like every little thing matters, right? Ow. That's exactly what bad guys think when they do something wrong. You know what my mommy said? She said that people like to start with little things, like stealing snacks. When they get older, those snacks turn to cars, then money. Sounds dumb to me. Ow! Well, think of it like this. A slippery slope, I guess? Let's pretend you're the judge. The judge is really smart, right? Yeah, the judge just lets just one bad guy get away. Next bad guy can say about how come he got away. You see? Then he just gets an excuse for doing more bad things, and that's what justice is. So, hey, you wanna play again? I can't, I have to go now. Aw, but you always leave early like this. I have to study, my parents keep making me. Oh, that's stupid. You're just jealous because I'm the best in our class. So what? So, don't you want to be smart like the judge? If he puts bad guys away, then yeah. No, silly, he just chooses which ones are bad and which are good. Don't they already know? How? That's a job for the, lawyers. I don't know how old they're supposed to be in here, but given the game, I'm assuming small children. Well, whatever, they catch the bad guys, right? Yep, each person does it in their own way. Two suit guys yell at each other, and the judge hits his hammer. Wow, is that why you study so much? Oh, there's lots of other reasons to be smart. You have a computer, right? Yeah, we have one of those. You know those things can talk? Oh, really? I'm gonna learn how to make them talk. Come on, comrade, come study with me. Yeah, let's make the calculator talk, too. Huh? Where am I? Bridge. So it's all coming back here. Sheesh. Guess I was beat up and left outside the bar. Or some equivalent. What happened? Why am I here? Wait, is that... Sarah! Sarah, can you hear me? No, this can't be. This can't be real. Hey, wake up! No, why? She can't be. This isn't happening. She's dead? Sarah, why? She's not breathing. She has no pulse. She's gone for good. Is there nothing I can do? Come on, Sarah, wake up. You have to. Don't go. You just hold on. It's no good. Her skin's ice cold. She's been dead for a while now. What am I saying? Don't give up on me, Sarah. Come on. Please. No, it's too late. She's gone. The organization's trying to frame him. And of course, Nail's going to be... Why'd you have to die? What happened to you? Ross, step away. All the time we spent together as children, I thought finally we'd remember them together. I thought I would never see you again. When we were accused of that crime a year ago, I had a chance to help you. And I didn't. I had let you down. You got pulled into this mess. Why didn't you tell me? Conrad, get away from the body. We need to perform the autopsy. You can't. Ross, I'm sorry. No, don't. Take her away from me. Sarah, stay with me. We pay so much for you. If you don't move, we'll have to use force. Officers, arrest this man. Sarah. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can will be used against you in court of law. Sorry? Why? On what grounds am I being arrested? You've been charged with the murder of Sir Fletcher. Got all wrong. I didn't do this. Why were you with the body? That's because I woke up here. I don't remember anything. Really? Don't believe me. It's alright, Ross. We've headed to the detention center. We have to find Sarah's killer. We're wasting time. I won't let you do this. Calm down. Just cooperate. If you're innocent, then I'll be cleared up. But she's dead. Dead. Do you hear me? She's not coming back. Oh, you're asking me. We should be looking into this. Detective, right? Well, take him away. Make a mistake. Yeah, no doubt. Nail killed her and decided to pin this on. But the fact that we know so much means... In fact, it's entirely possible he might have been planning this from the very beginning. He said she was a rogue element he needed to get rid of. But she was a rogue element. So I guess my original speculation might have been right. They were planning to get rid of her. And Cross was the fall guy. She's gone. Conrad, I don't know what to say. It's all my fault. I deserve whatever punishment they give me. No, Conrad, don't say that. Nobody believed me anyways. They all think I killed her. Don't they know I could never... I believe you. There's no way you'd harm Sarah. Dare doesn't seem to think that. He's determined to send me to prison. We can fight this. It's not hopeless. We just have to keep trying. Well, there's no point. I failed. Sarah, she's not coming back. We failed her. No, she would have wanted you to go free. She would have wanted us to work this out together. Come on, Conrad. If we just sit back and do nothing, lose for sure. If we try, at least we have a chance. I suppose so. Still so many questions that need answering. The organization you told me about, the one that Fletcher belongs to. What are they trying to do? The program Sarah built, they needed it. You mean Ace? It's a complex AI that's trained to solve criminal cases. You know, I was Nail part of that. Nail's been in the shadows ever since his recovery. Under the alias of Ram, he's been scheming to get his hands on the Zero data. He used Fletcher as a proxy to secretly obtain the hard drives. Wait, didn't you already have them? The top brass of his organization have been planning Ace's secret project. For some reason, they didn't want their actions to be noticed by the government, so they had Fletcher build it, and then they used her as a scapegoat. They branded her a criminal so the public would target her instead of them. That's cowardly. But Fletcher went along with it anyways. Why? And we didn't investigate that organization. You're right, there's still so much we have to find out. Even if Sarah's gone, I can at least try to understand what she was doing. And I have to find out why she died. Can't do much while I'm stuck here. It looks like my case is going to trial tomorrow. So we'll get you acquitted. I'll call an attorney. Maybe Flocking can help. No, I'm not dragging anyone else into this. Conrad, don't you think 3 heads are better than 2? It's not like it hurts to have an extra hand. Alright, I'm trusting you. Yay, when we're done here, I'll call Flocky for help. Let's focus on the charges. They're accusing me of murdering Fletcher. Do you know of any of the details of the case? How did she die? They haven't told me anything, but when I was at the scene, she had a wound in her stomach and was bleeding. What do you remember before you woke up near the bridge? I remember bits and pieces. It's no use. The last thing I remember was leaving the roof after I confronted Nail. That was over 12 hours since I woke up. I really don't remember anything. Did you pass out? I must have, now that you mention it. I have some bruises on my arm and the back of my head. These bandages on my hands, there are cuts on my palms. Maybe you fell over and someone dragged you to the crime scene. Is that really all it is? However this happened, I think someone treated my wounds. I've seen cases before that involve mysterious relocations like this. Do you think you were drugged? I didn't eat or drink anything since before the trial. That's way too much time to take effect, even for a slow-acting drug. But then we'd have to find a reason as to why you passed out. We can't rely on the prosecution to find evidence in our favor. I need you to go crime scene investigate. You also need to find out the extent of what's happened. Cause of death, reach the crime scene, find out exactly what Fletcher did before she died. I know how to investigate, Conrad. You taught me yourself, after all. Right. Good luck, and thanks for helping. You got it. Chloe McCarthy, on the job. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. He must have had a... Nail must have had a chloroform rag, and that would be an instant KO. So this is the crime scene. Ah, there's the body. I have to do this for Conrad. Chloe McCarthy, is this into the hero of something? He's not much a hero anymore. How could you do this? Conrad's innocent. I need to investigate the scene. Will you explain the situation? We found Cross near the body. It's pretty clear the sword was the murder weapon. There's a wound in the victim's stomach that was made from bladed weapon. We also found a gun. It's right over there. I see, so the culprit was armed, but why was Fletcher here in the first place? Well, we're not entirely sure, but last night she was being transported from the detention center. We're pretty sure she escaped and somehow ended up here. Oh, this is terrible. Why did this have to happen? I'll take a look around. Just speak to me when you're finished. And I'm sorry, if Cross is innocent, the truth will come to light in court. I'll have to do my best here. I need to find out as much as I can. Time to make Conrad proud. Investigation, the bridge canal. There's no liquids here. There's the sewer where we were. Ah, I can't leave yet. Conrad's counting on me to complete this investigation. That's the blood scene from the last case. Not likely to be relevant, but I'd like to go up here just to be safe. Even if just to confirm the door's not doing anything. It's a gun. Oddly enough, this gun was the same one used in Balmar's death. The one that was thrown in the fountain? Yeah, someone removed it and brought it here. Does that mean they were in a rush to commit this crime? If so, it must have started in the airport lobby. But it looks like it wasn't used. There were no new shots fired from that gun. If it wasn't used, why is it still here? The culprit left a lot of things lying around. Well, if it was Conrad, then he was supposedly passed out here last night. He wouldn't have had time to hide the weapons. Something's not adding out about this. I'm not sure Dare is as convinced about this as said. In fact, I think... the sword. Oh, since we're Chloe and not since we're in Chloe's shoes and not Conrad's, we might actually be able to read what it says. This is the sword from last case. Someone must have moved it from the airport lobby to here. The sword is covered in the victim's blood. We already ran the tests. Someone brought it here and used it to kill Fletcher. Is that really what happened? A familiar item found the trial. It was found covered in Fletcher's blood. But I guess Chloe doesn't know the words are important. But supposedly she should be able to read them, because it was established that only Conrad can't for some reason. But since we know he's an implant, it's entirely possible that, it's actually possible that Nail was screwing us over from the very beginning. It's possible he intended to use Conrad as a tool, and now that Conrad's gotten too close, he's decided to kill two birds with one stone, so to speak. Get rid of the rogue agent Fletcher, and get Conrad convicted so he can't tell anyone what happened. I mean, he could try to tell people in jail, but no one's going to believe him. I mean, it sounds like a conspiracy theory said out loud. This is Fletcher's body. Dare, is there an autopsy yet? It's still in progress, but we have a photo for reference. Looks like you said, a stab wound to the stomach. Yep, and there's even blood under the body as well. Oh, this is horrible, but I need to stay strong. Is there anything else you can tell me about the body? There was one thing I noticed. Seems like her hand was bound by a rope. Rope? That's not standard practice of the detention center, but maybe they went a little medieval yesterday. That doesn't make much sense. It's more likely the culprit did this. Were they trying to take Fletcher somewhere? It looks like I've finished the investigation. I should talk to Dare when I'm ready to continue. I imagine there's not much over here, but it's worth taking a look, even if just to get the dialogue. Oh, there's nothing here. I can't leave yet. I need to prove Conrad's innocent by investigating the whole scene. This place is... alright. It's possible the gun was taken as an insurance policy and just left here after. The sword was obviously used because it has some connection to Conrad, and somehow he's not able to read the letters. It could have definitely be some sort of a mental programming thing, or some sort of hypnosis maybe? Hard to say, but it's obviously not normal that there's text on the sword that can be read by people other than Conrad. And he can't even hear when other people tell him what it is, as noted by the last case where Chloe attempted to tell him what it said, but he couldn't hear. Am I ready to leave the scene? Okay, Dare, is there anything else I should know about? Well, there's been construction happening up here. Oh, I did notice that. We checked it out, but there weren't any obvious clues that led to this murder. That means we can probably rule out the possibility the culprit was there. See, but it's too early to say it's completely unrelated. It's possible that they were planning to put the bodies in the cement so that they would never be found. No normal clues, but there are several construction vehicles, including a crane. Ooh, the crane could have been used to move bodies then. I've been accused of the murder of Sarah Fletcher, which makes me the defendant, my assistant student, to go to solving crimes. Maybe they used the sound of construction to mask the crime? No, there hasn't been anyone working there for the past several days. We also found something in the sewer passageway. Ah, tracing the culprit? Not exactly. It was a piece of cut rope. On another note, we're gathering details on Fletcher's convoy. Convoy? That's right, she had an armed convoy while she was being transported. I believe they were taking her north. But where were they going? You'd have to ask Nail. It was something to do with his organization. Most likely going to be discussing the route of the convoy during the trial, which is why you should take this map of the city. It shows a few relevant locations and their positions, not exactly to scale. Parking garage. Courthouse, town center, cross offices, park, airport, bridges, sewer entrance. Alright, so this is where the body and everything was found. She was at the courthouse for a time and then moved it down here. It seems likely they were intending to take her to the airport. Ah, that was helpful, thank you. We're quite done here. Ah, it's Nail. Don't sneak up on us like that, it's scary. Why are you surprised? My car has been parked here all morning. Still, you're wasting your time. Let me guess, you're the prosecutor for Conrad's case. You should plead guilty tomorrow. No, how can you say that? Conrad used to be your assistant, and now you're treating him like a criminal. You can't just assume that those we know are innocent. Tomorrow you'll understand Conrad will face the full force of the law. You're horrible. Why were you moving Fletcher in the first place? That's classified, I can't reveal any details. I'd expect to hold a fair trial for withholding information. I've had enough of this. Dare, let's investigate the scene. As you say, sir. I need to get back to Conrad. Tomorrow's trial will be difficult. Oh, Conrad gets a phone call later today. It should land in my new phone call. I can't think about that. I have to focus. What would he do in this situation? That's right, I should review what we know. Alright, Fletcher was found with a stab wound, and the sword and gun were brought here from the airport lobby. So that means sometime during escape from the convoy, she ran into the killer who came from the airport. That's not a lot to go on, though. For now, I should return to Conrad. It's in our hands now. It's up to me and Flocking. Tomorrow, we'll have to face Nail in court. I just hope we'll be able to handle it. If I've learned anything from my time as Conrad's assistant, things never go according to plan. Yeah, it's not that he believes in justice system or anything, it's just that he wants to just get his project done, throw as many, sacrifice whatever is necessary for progress. He's basically the exact same as Trey, if we're blunt, and sacrificing as many people as it takes to get his dream occurred. Huh? Where's the judge? Is he really late for my trial? Calm yourselves, the judge is being brought in as we speak. Brought in? Is he really that lazy? Don't worry, Cross, we'll have your back. Yeah, we'll prove to everyone you're innocent. Ah, here they are, they brought the judge. What? But that's... Initializing. Ace, don't tell me. This computer program will be running today's trial. I am more than capable of exercising judgment in this case. Hold up, is this robot really qualified to run a trial? Don't our laws state there must be a human judge present? Today's trial is an exception. Our organization is testing the functionality of Ace. Can't you run the tests that aren't as risky? How can we trust Ace to be unbiased? You could have altered his programming. Ace has met the specification of the Justice Department. In fact, he's already been through a rigorous training program. The Council feels as though he's ready to take on a real case. Affirmative, I shall give you the benefit of the doubt, Mr. Cross. This is going to be a tough trial. Ace is extremely clever and can catch the smallest details. We'll have to be on guard today. Conrad, I can't help but feel this is partially our fault. We did call the previous judge into question, after all. After the last trial, we got into an argument with the presiding judge. It's possible he was removed from this case due to his unfair verdict. Do keep in mind the counselors are present to keep me in check. This should be another interesting trial. Technology these days has been getting on my nerves. Now the formalities are aside, are we ready to begin? Prosecution is ready, Your Honor. And the defense? The defense is ready if you are. Objection. Actually, there's something I need to tell the court. Please proceed. I'm denying my right to an attorney. Excuse me? Oh, I thought we'd be controlling Flocking. Flocking, your services are no longer needed. I'll be defending myself. Conrad, no! Acknowledge. Do you wish the attorney to leave? No. She can stay. Huh? Was that a choice? Ah, I'm getting indecisive. I'm even doubting myself. I should be on my toes. I should remember to object when something doesn't sound right. Conrad, I don't want the burden of this trial on Flocking's shoulders. I want to help you, Cross. And you can, but not as my lawyer. Are you done bickering? We're ready. Please begin. This is a trial for the murder of Sarah Fletcher. Would the prosecution make their statement? Dare, if you would. I don't have all day. Woo, crime details. Please tell us what your team found at the crime scene. Testimony under the bridge. The victim was Sarah Fletcher. She was a wanted criminal and recently convicted of a crime. We found her body under a bridge. Wait. Oh, is that where she died? Probably. There was no blood anywhere but right near where the body was. The autopsy. I have it right here. I see, so she died from a stab wound in the stomach. Let's take a look here. Somewhere between 9:30 and 11:30 p.m. April 5th, died from a stab wound, a bladed object in the stomach. There was no exit wound. Wrists were bound by ropes at one point. And the weapon was a bladed object. Yep, it was probably that sword that was found near the body. The sword that appeared in Vilmar's murder. It was used to kill Sarah? Explain the court what else was found near the body. A choice, Well, if I interrupt here, I get penalized, but if not, I can't afford to be getting penalties, because as we saw previously, I am very much, am going to likely to make mistakes here. Now, objection here. That's not right. Are you feeling well? There was something else found near the body. Please do not interrupt for a petty attempt at humor. Yeah, I figured that much. What else is found in the body? That's right, a gun was found. We found a pistol near the body as well. It was the same one that was thrown to the fountain when Vilmar died. And no new shots were fired from it, is that correct? Yep, so someone must have moved it from the airport lobby to the bridge. The same goes to the sword. I wonder, how did Fletcher get to the bridge in the first place? Oh yeah, wasn't she in detention center? My records indicate she was mobilized north at about 5:35 p.m. on the day of the murder. So around 4 hours before the earliest time. What? How can you know that? Ace's GPS tracking program lets him track individuals with implants. Oh, then if we can just look up her path, we'll know how she got there. Negative. Shortly after 5:35, my GPS system went offline. Offline? How did that happen? It was disabled remotely. I can turn it back on if it is relevant as trial. Who disabled it? It was the defendant, Conrad Cross. Ah, I did. You were logged in remotely through a tablet on the day of the incident. You inquired Fletcher's location, then disabled my GPS tracking. What? I don't remember doing that. Then you logged off. I was unable to track any positions during the incident. Then you must have a record of inquiries up to today. Processing. I have no records between that time and afternoon yesterday. See, this is very suspicious behavior from the defendant. Conrad, I still believe in you. At this rate, I don't even believe in myself. Oh, right, remember, he said... Remember, when he asked for his own location, he asked the person, then he said he never takes the person... He doesn't always assume the person logging in with the name is that same person taking the action, which means someone could have easily used his login. After all, we did use hers. So somehow Fletcher escaped the detention center and ended up at the bridge. That's a bit vague. It's all my fault. Why did it turn out this way? Conrad, you have to keep trying. Don't give up. It is the prosecution's belief the defendant interrupted Fletcher's convoy. Convoy? I suppose now is the correct time to mention this. My organization was transporting the criminal to a secure location. Don't worry, we received clearance from the Justice Department beforehand. There's a security detail. There were 2 vehicles with several armed guards. And how exactly would Cross have stopped it? Simple, he created a diversion. Hold on, it's in the defense belief I passed out due to being drugged. That's why it was forgotten that I was disabled the GPS trap. Sadly, that isn't the case, Conrad. When you were arrested, we ran several tests on you, including blood, and found that there were no trace of drugs or sleeping agents in your system. Yeah, I think he used a chloroform rag. According to what you said earlier, you can't remember the events after 5:35. You were found unconscious on the bridge after 6 the next day. Any substance was able to knock you out for over 12 hours would have been found. Now hold on there. Is it still possible that I passed out due to stress or some other factor? That is possible, yes, but not for a whole 12 hours. Even if you did, then if nobody had malicious intent against you, how did you end up at the bridge? He's right, at some point I would have gone there of my own accord. Oh, I see. It should be clear there are actions the accused took that he does not remember, which is why I will now tell the court about a second incident that occurred. A second incident? For convenience, let us refer to this map. Fletcher's convoy had left the detention center around 5:30. They made a quick stop at the town center, then continued north. Wait, that's the opposite of where the bridge went, isn't it? However, they were halted near the parking garage by a threat. A bomb threat? Yep, I think you recognize this thing. That's the fake bomb from the incident. Someone parked the van right in the middle of the road. Naturally, the convoy thought it was real, so they stopped. Then they heard gunshots. Gunshots? Several guards went to investigate and found this blank pistol. Ah, that gun is from the robbery case. Indeed, it was used by Fletcher to threaten Miss Towers. That's the one that contained blank shots instead of bullets. It fired 2 shots. No shooter was found. No fingerprints either, but we did find this. The tripod from the Garner case. All of his previous cases are here. All these times are returning. Why? Yeah, this is way too convenient. And all of Cross's ones are... Oh no, maybe they were going to put him as the conspirator. The tripod is found on its side, next to the gun. Conrad, what happened now this gun was fired? The gun was timed and set to fire at a certain time. What makes you say that? There's no evidence for that, is there? Absolutely not. Oh, I didn't realize that penalized me. Oh crap, I didn't save. Well, I'll have to just eat the penalty. I know it's... Well, I've seen this setup before. You know, let's just speed through this real quick then. We have an awful lot of stuff here, then. All the previous cases, all used in the previous ones. It seems Yeah, because remember... Oh yeah, this allows me to go over. Remember, we were originally logged in as Fletcher before Cross decided to put in a new ID for himself. That means... Yeah, whoever used it was able to use his account, no problem. I know it's a bit extreme, but given we know Nail is perfectly fine throwing as many people under the bus as it takes to get his dream occurred, he really is no different from Trey. He's just doing it from the shadows rather than overtly. Oh yeah, I do need this evidence. Alright, so second incident is the bombing incident, or rather the fake one. And the fact every single thing was from previous cases, including being rigged up exactly as it was, it's entirely possible that Nail had planned all of this in the very beginning and was planning to screw us over. It's also possible that, while I'm doing this, it's also possible that Nail is specifically trying to game the AI by simply having every single object in every single piece of evidence, every object tie back to Conrad. It would be impossible for it to not find him guilty simply because... Fired remotely. The gun must have been fired remotely. And how is this possible? There's a trick to operating pistols at a distance. First, the gun needed to be mounted on this item. It was this tripod. In the Gardner case, there was a gun mounted to that tripod. With the press of a button, someone could fire the gun remotely. However, the knockback of the shot would cause the contraption to fall over. The button was keys, correct? Actually, this may be Actually, even this may be within Nail's plans. Either he succeeds, gets rid of Conrad, and therefore he gets rid of 2 people who would have been potential bad X-factors to his plans, or we succeed, and he has already proven the AI is reliable for cases, because despite all the evidence clearly pointing Conrad, that it was able to find the not guilty like it really was. So in other words, I think we might have already be caught in Nail's web. There's no possible way he doesn't win, no matter what outcome we get. That's right, the only way to activate the mechanism was to press a button. Excellent. This is not looking good. You're just proving your own demise. My own, don't tell me they found. This pair of keys was found in the parking garage in a trash can. The button had your fingerprints on it, Cross. The gun and tripod were clearly set up to distract the guards. Since the defendant's fingerprints were on the button, it means he had the intention of firing that gun. I understand. This could prove the defendant did stop the convoy. Hear that, Conrad? It's all over. Objection. You're jumping to conclusions way too quickly. Oh, am I really? There's no denying the fact my fingerprints are on that button, but there must be some explanation as to how they got there. I can explain in a different context why I would have pressed that button. I should probably start saving again here. Because I'm probably going to make a lot of mistakes. To demonstrate something. Nail, you wouldn't happen to remember this since you were in a coma. But I did press that button once before. Ah, that's right. It was around 2 years ago, but I still remember like it was yesterday. In the Gardner case, this tripod is used with the gun mounted on it. The defendant was acting strange about his keys, so I pressed the button. That's when we discovered the tripod and button were linked. Oh, I see, so the fingerprints remained since then. But can fingerprints even stay around for that long? As long as nothing tampers with it, it's entirely possible. Yeah, if nothing specifically covers them, they can remain for quite some time. That set of keys are just sitting in my office all this time. Slow down. In your office, you say? Yes, I keep some of the evidence from past cases in there. Would that happen to include the tripod? Oh, that is right. Both the tripod and blank pistol from the robbery case were left in there. They were in your office the day of the incident. Allow me to show the court how this all makes sense. Take a look at the map again. At 5:30, the defendant was on the roof of the building on the top right. Now I want to ask the detective where the van was. It was still the dining parking lot. Oh, you still didn't remove the evidence from there? We've been busy. The dining hall is between that building and the parking garage. The defendant had plenty of time to run there and steal the van. Then we just had to drive to his office. He just had to drive to his office, pistol, and keys. Objection. And where's your proof? This is just speculation. I figured you'd be stubborn like this. So a special witness would clear up any doubts you may have. Please bring in your witness. Miss Flowers? Oh, I'm on time. Yes, could you please give the court your testimony? Sure thing. Testimony, Flowers in the rubble. Where were you on 6 p.m. on the day of the incident? I was at my office. Your office? Wasn't it blown to bits by a bomb? Yes, but we already started reconstruction. And I can't stand being late to anything, so I showed up to pay my respects. To your destroyed building. And what'd you see while you were there? I saw that van pull up in front of the garage. Then someone stepped out of it. And who was this person? I'm pretty sure it was you, Conrad. Me? Well, it's hard to tell because it was at a distance. I think I could make out your pointy hair spikes. And what did the defendant do? Well, I didn't pay much attention to him after that. Figured you were doing some attorney work. Well, this is bad. Conrad, this is fine. You're on trial for murder, not stopping a convoy. It is not the distraction part that concerns the prosecution's case, it's what came after. Thank you for your testimony, Miss Flowers. Anytime. I gotta run, I'm gonna be late. Processing. The testimony we just received was not the most reliable. Witness claimed to have seen the defendant at a distance. Something Nail's organization developed. It sure seems to be giving him a hard time. No matter, let's assume that whoever the culprit was stole one of the vehicles. Why do you say that? Because when the guards returned after investigating the gunshot, the vehicle Fletcher was being transported in was missing. Shouldn't there have been someone watching the convoy? There was, but he was knocked unconscious with a weapon. Specifically the rear end of the spear. But that's a spear used in the robbery case. Another item from your law office. Surely the only one that could have taken these items was you. Actually, Conrad's door is always unlocked. Oh yeah, that's right. Anyone could have walked in and taken those things. Not very secure, are you? Regardless, the guard was knocked out cold due to being hit by the spear. It was on the floor next to him when the others returned. So what happened to Fletcher? She was handcuffed in the back of an armored vehicle. The culprit drove the vehicle to get her away from the convoy. The question is, where was she driven to? To answer that question, I've called another witness. Another? This case is bigger than I originally thought. Please bring in your witness. Greetings, lads. Thorn? Yep, I'm the witness. Please tell us your situation. Alright, I've been granted immunity from a certain action I took. Immunity? In a previous case, this prosecutor had collaborated with the defendant. Yeah, in the terror incident at the dining hall, Thorn went very easy on Chloe. He tried to stall for time and let convoy win. But how is that relevant to the case? Well, it'll be clear in a moment. Please tell us what happened. Testimonia threatened Thorn. A little after 6 p.m., I received a call from a mysterious person. Mysterious person? Do you know who that was? Individuals using a voice modulator to disguise themselves. They threatened me. Oh. They threatened to expose my actions during Chloe's trial. I would have been up for review by my mother. So that's what you were worried about. Do you care about your mom's opinion over your job? At any rate, the culprit had me do something. Witness will not be held accountable for the following actions, as part of his agreement for testifying today. Actions? What did he do? I was told to drive Fletcher's vehicle to the airport. This is a serious clue that could lead to the culprit. Well, I didn't learn much. I panicked just as I was told. And where'd you pick up the vehicle? It was at the town center. Oh, that's right. I saw you there when I was filling out retrial papers. Right, well, there must have been a hurry because I was looking for the vehicle. I found it on the opposite end of a roundabout and Fletcher inside. Did the victim say anything to you? She was arguing to bring her back to the convoy, but I figured the culprit would do something if I disobeyed. Well, this is bad. Then I just drove her to the airport. Let's take a look at the map one more time. The culprit drove the vehicle from the parking garage to the town center. That's when Thorn received the call and drove it further to the airport. Sarah likely died on the bridge. How'd she get there? Well, when I arrived at the airport, I called the number back. Did you speak to the culprit again? Yes, they were still using a voice modulator, but they seemed confused, as if they didn't know what I'd accomplished the task. I hung up and decided to bring Fletcher inside the airport. What time was this? Around 6:30. I thought the culprit would show up at any minute. I released Fletcher from her handcuffs, but bound her hands with a rope. Why'd you do that? Because the culprit wanted her to escape. It would be a pain if she was still in handcuffs, but I also didn't want her to run off, so I had to tie her hands. I understand. Please continue. I watched her in the lobby, and there was no one there, so I panicked and left her there. You what? I thought the caller was running late. I didn't want to stare around and find out. I took the armored vehicle from the airport and drove to the bridge. So now we know how Fletcher escaped the convoy. But we still don't know how she ended up at the bridge. I believe I know the answer. Let's hear the last of Thorn's story. Well, I drove the vehicle to the bridge and found you, Cross. Me again. I realize you recently lost your memory, so I'm not surprised you don't remember. But you seem to be panicking and looking for Fletcher. I told you the situation. Together we searched for her. 2 witnesses have spoken about me now. I drove us back to the airport and went inside, but she was gone. Gone, which means the culprit must have taken her in the time that I left. Wait, if what you say is true then, and I did meet you at the bridge, that would mean I wasn't at the airport. There's no way I could have traveled that far in the time after you left. This has to prove I'm innocent. Objection. Hold your horses, Conrad. Thorn simply made an assumption. It wasn't the killer that took her from the airport. It was me. Why were you at the airport? I was investigating last case. Objection. That's incredibly suspicious. Thorn got a call that made him bring Fletcher to the airport, where you happen to be investigating? I admit, it's a coincidence, but I wasn't the only one present. My alibi can be confirmed by our next witness. There's more? We need to have a full understanding of the incident if we are to draw any conclusions. Thorn, do you have any more to your story? No, that's all. After we found Fletcher's missing, I headed back to the bridge and stayed there. Plans for you to keep searching while I called for help. I waited at the bridge for a bit and ran into Miss Flocking. Were there too? I guess I was. At that point, we were helping the police search the city for Fletcher. Interesting. I request a typed summary to be added to the evidence. Processing. We will take a short recess while we prepare the next witness. Court dismissed. Everything's coming together now. Sheesh, the murders actually started somewhat reasonable for the first 2 cases. Can't believe it, I don't remember anything Thorn said happened. Conrad, am I even innocent? Maybe I really did commit the crime. You need to believe in yourself. Don't give up, keep fighting. You're right, as long as we don't give up. We won't give up until the bitter end. I need to stay strong and come up with a plan. Something's been bothering me about Thorne's testimony. There's a lot of details he left out. I imagine we don't have the time to go over everything, but I understand. You think he could be the culprit? What? Didn't you get a call from the culprit? Something's not adding up about our mysterious criminal, though. Their motives don't align with wanting to kill Fletcher. You heard Thorne, right? He said the culprit wanted her to escape. So you think the one that freed her from the convoy wasn't our killer? I hope that's the case, because it's looking like the one that freed her was actually me. Can you really not remember anything? I think there are bits and pieces, but nothing concrete. Images of her in the sewers and Nail, it's hard to say. Fletcher died from a stab wound to the stomach. Doesn't Thorne always carry around that sword? Ah, you don't mean... When Thorne returned the bridge and met you, did you check for a body underneath? No, I didn't look. And Fletcher could have already been dead at that point. Conrad, I don't want to doubt our friends, but there was a perfect opportunity for him to be the culprit. Thorne doesn't have a motive. Well, maybe. Got another call and was forced to do it? Then he planted evidence from the airport at the scene. That is a possibility, but is it really the correct answer? Let's just listen to Nail's next witness before we jump to conclusions. I'm not sure if the killer's Thorne, but I have to expose the truth for Sarah. Ajax? Greetings. Court is now in session. This is the prosecution's witness. Is this the prosecution's witness? That is correct. Ajax was at the airport with me during the incident. Affirmative. I prepared to give my testimony. Ah, was everybody at the crime scene? The computer leading the trial and Cyborg as a witness. Great. Please proceed. Ajax at the airport. That day, I had decided to aid Nail in his investigation at the airport. At the time, Nail was in the sewers and I was in the lobby. Why were you investigating in the first place? The Justice Department has been low on prosecutors since you left. Oh. Bimar's death was a major incident and needed to be looked over again, especially since the previous judge was called into question. Whoops. Something happened around 6:30, correct? Affirmative. I received a mysterious call from the culprit. You also got a call? A heavily modified voice said that Fletcher was at the airport. They want to blackmail you too? Most likely, but their plans seem to have been ruined. How so? Upon receiving this call, I went to the sewers to get Nail. Can you confirm this, prosecutor? Yes, he called for me and we both returned to the lobby to think things through. But when we returned, she was there. Oh, Fletcher was in the lobby. Because at that time, I left her there with her hands tied. Must have just missed you. Nail decided that he would take her into custody so that she would not escape, so his organization could take her, no doubt. That's when all three of us entered the sewers again. Hold on, why did you do that? Isn't it obvious? The culprit was luring us into some kind of trap. Surely the culprit would have arrived at any minute to kill us all or worse. I still can't understand our motives here. We waited in the sewers for a bit and then I returned to the lobby. I left through the front entrance to get the police. Did you see the culprit? Negative. Did you see anything else suspicious? Well, there was one thing I think was odd now that I think about it. The security room in the lobby, the one that locks from the outside. It was opened when we entered the sewers, but closed when I had returned. I did not pay much attention to it since I was retrieving the police. This was a little after 6:45. So it's clear that someone had been there while you were in the sewers. And what were you doing while this was going on, Nail? I'd taken Fletcher deep in the sewers. I understand that Fletcher wanted to return to her cell. Why didn't you just escort her to the detention center? Well, the passageway was the safest option, considering there was a killer loose. Conrad, he's not telling us the whole story. Indeed, every single witness has taken strange actions in this incident. Conrad, don't even think about it. It's true something's not adding up, but it's clear that Sarah didn't die in the sewers. For starters, there's no blood anywhere but under the bridge. Then what happened to the victim after she entered the sewers? I think I have an idea. This piece of evidence should show something that happened to Sarah in the sewers. It was found in the sewer passageway, signs being cut loose. This rope was found in the sewers. If you recall, Thorne testified that he tied Sarah's hands with a rope, and then brought her to the lobby. I see how this is falling into place. After Thorne left, Ajax and Nail arrived at the lobby from the sewers, where they took Fletcher into the sewers. That's when Thorne and I supposedly returned to the lobby. Then I left while you stayed behind, just in time for Ajax to return again, but I did not see Cross on my return. In addition, I left through the front entrance and did not find him outside. I think I could explain that, actually. Security room door. Simple, the security room door was closed when Ajax returned. I guess I was hiding in that room? I see, then I guess it's my turn to say that is incredibly suspicious. We're going to start seeing a lot of these, so let's get ready here. No objection? I wanted Fletcher to be safe. The culprit could have been anywhere. When Ajax returned, of course I would hide from anyone suspicious. I am suspicious. Have you not looked in a mirror? I probably didn't want to involve anyone else in the situation, actually. This is the only proof that you intended to free Fletcher. We shall overlook that for now. So how did Fletcher get freed? It was probably Conrad's doing. Objection. Do you have any proof? How do we even know Cross was at the lobby at the time? He could have closed the security door and left. The prosecution has a piece of evidence that will prove he was in that room. When the police arrived at the lobby, they found something strange. Blood was found on the floor near the window of the near the shards of the security room. Blood? Someone got hurt? Most likely due to climbing through the window that was broken. If you recall, the security room door only locks from the outside, so anyone that was in the room had to leave through that window. Indeed, analysis revealed the blood was yours, Conrad. Wait, what? Here's the report. Are you satisfied? So, my blood was at the lobby. Could it be the cuts on my hands? Broken glass in the windows was enough to wound Conrad's hands. This sufficiently proves the defendant was at the lobby, I see. And what did you do while Conrad was hiding, Nail? I continued on the passageway while leaving the victim behind. I ended up at the bridge and circled back around to make sure the coast was clear. When I returned much later, Fletcher was gone, and I had been watching the lobby when the police returned. I'm assuming you checked the security room? Affirmative, no one was in the lobby. And after hiding from you, I must have gone to the sewers? The only way this scenario works is if you freed Fletcher and then went together. The passageway arriving at the bridge. And that's it. I did not see her again until the next morning. Same goes for me. So she escaped with Conrad? This isn't looking good. Processing, are there any more leads? I'm afraid not. Our search yielded nothing. Now, wait a minute. How much did you look? We checked every location related to her. Nail, were you patrolling the bridge? We had a search all over the city, the bridge included. The whole city was on watch, and she died on the bridge. That narrows down the suspects to those near the airport. Oh, but that could be me, or Flocking. Or Nail, or Ajax, or even me. No matter what, this much is clear. The killer is someone standing in this very room right now. I believe we need more concrete evidence. Is there any more to your testimony, Ajax? Just one more part. After we had been searching the lobby, I saw Nail in the sewers. What? Don't you remember? It was around 10 p.m. Yes, you're right. That's odd. Why was he surprised just now? Is there anything strange about Prosecutor Nail? Not particularly. He was just searching for Fletcher. If he was in the sewers around 10, then she must have escaped by then. I see, so that's it. No, the police ran blood checks on me after I was arrested. The fact they knew to search for this means, yeah, this means Nail knew precisely what I needed to do in order to remove doubt here. Lobby blood. The blood belonged to me. What's the autopsy report say again? Here we are. Between 9:30 and 11:30 p.m. It's entirely possible he could have already killed her. Nail could have already killed her by that time. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure this is going to be important here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is going to be important because the fact he saw Ajax saw Nail in the sewer at 10 means he was smack dab in the middle of the time frame which Sarah Fletcher could have been killed. Which means he could have already done the deed by then and been on his way back. Wait, actually, there was one thing that startled me. When I encountered Nail in the sewers, he was holding a sword. I'm pretty sure it was one found near the body. Ah, if this is true, then it means you visited the crime scene. It's true, I was at the bridge, but I did not commit the crime. Then we need to know why you were there and what you were doing with the sword. After our encounter, Nail told me to turn back to the lobby. Indeed, I was in charge of searching the sewer entrance by the bridge. That's where Fletcher died. Did you encounter the victim while searching? Detective? Objection. Everyone hold up, we have a serious issue. What is it now? It's the body. What about it? The body is missing. What do you mean, missing? It's gone. But how? How could that happen? Detective, were you keeping an eye on the scene? The investigation took a break yesterday night. I was here this morning and no one was on the scene until just now. So you're saying there was a 12-hour gap with no one at the scene? Such a pitiful display, and here I thought you were improving. Processing. Though this turn of events will prove detrimental to our trial, it may have opened up new clues that can further our discussion. Well, I suppose there was one thing odd about the scene. When the body removed, my men found something that was under the victim. It was a piece of cloth. This cloth is covered in the victim's blood and appears to be damaged. You're right, it looks like only half of it remains. Blood is easily explained due to being under the victim, but the damage... I'm prepared to make up for my mistakes, for my own personal analysis, and how it ended up that way. That doesn't sound good. I do hope you can redeem yourself, Detective. I'd like to cross-examine this testimony. Very well, please proceed. Cross-examination dares cloth analysis. So the cloth was certainly held by the victim before her death. It's possible she found it in the sewers or something. She probably used it to distract the true culprit or clean something. Regardless, I think the culprit shot it before she died. That to explain why I got severed in half. The bullet went straight through. The other half went missing, but Fletcher held on to what remained until she died. That's a pretty obvious... That's her analysis? That's a pretty obvious hole. I expect to let this court down yet again. What do you mean? Something was wrong in that testimony. The defense will now cross-examine the witness. You can do it, Conrad. You couldn't have shot it because no new bullets were fired. The fountain pistol. Objection. You think the cloth was damaged by a bullet? Well, yeah, there's a possibility, right? The culprit could have used a gun to shoot it. No, it's not, and that's because the only gun at the scene hadn't been fired. Oh, you're right. The gun that was disposed of at the fountain previously had been brought to the new crime scene. But it didn't fire any new shots, so how did the cloth really get damaged? It's simple. This object was used. Sword's the only blade weapon there. There aren't many options here. The sword's the obvious choice. I agree. It was the only bladed item at the scene. Wait, didn't we just hear that Nail had the sword out at 10 p.m.? Does that mean you were near the victim when she had this claw? No, you've all this all wrong. And explain what you're doing with the sword at 10 p.m. I believe I can help the court understand the situation. Let us start with where the other half of the cloth went. Other half? The cloth was sliced in 2 pieces, but the other half was nowhere to be found. I believe the other half is with someone. Conrad, please show the court where's the other half of this cloth. Oh, it's what he's been bandaged with. It's me, isn't it? You? That's right, and it's not a joke this time. The binding's on my hands. Until matches that cloth. I see, so you used the cloth to meet your wounds. But Nail had the sword. How could Cross have cut it? I can explain that as well. The sword was not the only bladed weapon at the scene. There was a knife, more specifically one that came from the security room. The security room knife. I took that with me when I found it at the bridge. When I woke up yesterday morning, it was gone. I found it in the sewer passage on the other side of the bridge. Other side? If you recall, there were actually 2 sewer entrances in the bridge canal. One of them leads to the airport lobby, but the other is a dead end. It would have been the perfect place to hide during a search. So Cross and Fletcher were hiding while you searched the bridge. During that time, Conrad covered the cuts in his hands with the cloth. He used the security room knife to cut it, but left the knife in the passageway. This further implies the defendant is guilty. It still could have been anyone. After all, since Sarah had the cloth, she was helping me with the wounds. This trail's going nowhere. We need something concrete. If only we had access to the body. The body's missing. If I could show the court where it went. Is there any way to find it? Well, I'm stumped. I guess I'll just search the airport again. No, that won't be necessary. What games are you playing now? I know, we can find the body. Objection. You can't be serious. The detective probably has a team of skilled officers. Yeah, we can find it. Well, there's no time. The culprit was clearly trying to hide evidence. Finding that body could reveal a major clue. I need to think about everything I've learned up to this point. Alright, I'll show the court how we can find the body. There's a considerable amount of blood beneath the body. Oh, the GPS system. He doesn't have a profile? Yeah, those are just case details. But yeah, what do I need to... What can help find the victim's body? We'll go ahead and save here again. Yeah, but we need to prove... Remember, she had an implant, so they could use it to track her. I'll find the tracker, though. What can help? The computer can, but what are we... It's not a piece of evidence. Gardener's keys. Contained a button that would fire a gun mounted to the tripod. Was found in the parking garage. Contains my fingerprints. Used by a culprit in the robbery case. Was found in the streets in front of the parking garage. No one got a call after that. Yeah, but the person was confused. Ajax's testimony. Fletcher was there. Nail and Ajax took Fletcher to the sewers. Ajax was to the police shortly after. Apparently, I parked the van with this fake in front of the parking garage around 6. Autopsy. This is what will reveal the truth. Conrad, that won't do anything. Ah, well, I was close, right? Absolutely not. Alright, we're gonna load up real quick here. Alright, we need to prove that... Because we know she had an implant, she can be tracked. But what can prove it? Alright, what here proves the implants? Apparently she had a GPS implant. Okay, so I have to present her profile. I was on the right track there. There's something about the victim herself. Oh, what do you mean? When I first spoke to Ace, I learned something important about Sarah. It was the GPS implant. Using a GPS, Ace can locate the precise position of anyone who has an implant. You're right, even though Fletcher's dead, the GPS will still work. But didn't it say GPS functions were disabled? Yes, it said I disabled them before the incident. But Ace said he could turn them back on. That is correct. Ace, please locate Sarah Fletcher. Locating. That was quite impressive, Conrad. Let's just hope everything works out. Location found. Fletcher is currently in the parking lot of this building. What? The body is here? I'll check outside. It's true, the body is outside. This is an interesting turn of events. Where exactly was it? It was in the back of Nail's truck. What? But... Nail, are you the killer? No, just wait. Well, there's no doubt about it, it's there. Would you care to explain this to the court? Hold on. Nail's right, we shouldn't jump to conclusions so fast. Indeed, isn't it possible someone's trying to frame me? They could have put the body in my truck while this trial was ongoing. No, that doesn't seem likely. The body still had wounds. If it had been moved from that parking, there would be a blood trail leading up to the truck. No such trail existed. It is possible the blood trail was cleaned up. Do you really think they would have had the time to do that near a court of law? There are officers and guards everywhere. They merely had to carry the body in protective case. It was underneath the tarp. See, they carried it with the tarp. The tarp was barely stained. In addition, it was only on top of the body, not beneath. So it was only used to cover the back of the truck. So that means I drove over here with the body already in the back? Why are you so surprised? The most likely suspect, this is you at this point. Hold on, let's not rush into this. We know the body was moved sometime between last night and this morning. Was Nail ever at the crime scene? Yeah, he was. I saw him there yesterday. And he must have been one of the last to leave, correct? That's right, but that doesn't mean anything. Oh right, remember, he said that his car had been parked out there the whole time. He didn't move when no one was looking. Oh, but my truck is parked above the canal. How could I move the body from under the bridge in my truck? I believe I know the answer, actually. So explain how the body was moved to your truck. Construction site. A crane. There was construction going on next to the bridge. You don't mean... The body was moved using the crane. Someone simply had to operate the crane and pick up the body. It could be moved to the side of the bridge where Nail's truck was parked. But anyone could have done that. You were one of the last ones at the crime scene, and Conrad certainly couldn't have used the crane. He was in the detention center during the entire investigation. She's right. At the very least, this should prove Conrad's innocence. Likely story. Well, there's still one thing we have to determine. Was Nail really at the right place to have killed the victim? Well, he was at the canal during the time of Fletcher's death, and he had the sword. Quite. We know that Cross was trying to help Fletcher escape. It all makes sense. Nail encountered those two and fought them. Prosecutor Nail, you will tell this court what happened. Very well, but I can't disclose information about my organization. I'd like to cross-examine this testimony. That is acceptable. Prosecutor, please take the stand. Treated as a mere criminal. Please tell us if you encountered the victim or defendant during the incident, and be sure to give details of what occurred. Cross-examination Nail's defense. This does complicate things a bit, because while it is still possible my theory that Nail is doing this to prove his organization's AI works, he did seem genuinely surprised that Ajax saw him in the sewer at 10 p.m. specifically, and that it was in his truck. Now, it's possible he did set this up to be loose so that it wouldn't be a perfect frame, specifically so it wouldn't be a perfect framing job, but it's also possible that there is someone within the group or against him. But if that's the case, it's hard to say. Of course, it is also possible that Nail truly is a master of disguise and was playing as Conrad the entire time, but no, Conrad confirmed his hands are indeed actually injured. It's not just for show. His hands really are hurt. So yeah, I guess he must have just blacked out. It is true, I ran into Conrad and Fletcher under the bridge. They seemed out of it. Both seemed not in the right mind, desperate to escape the search party. I threatened to take them both into custody, but they held me at gunpoint. Conrad had taken the pistol that was in the fountain and brought it to the bridge. At that time I was carrying the sword, so they had me drop it. But I realized something wasn't right. The weapon was not functional. After all, it had been in the fountain for days. I assumed correctly and tried to overpower Conrad, but he fought back. In the end, I fled back to the airport lobby to bring reinforcements. Right before that, I noticed something very strange. Fletcher was on the ground in the heat of the moment. I didn't understand why. She must have been injured by our duel. Regardless, Conrad stepped with the sword while she was prone. It was next so unimaginable that I had to reconsider everything. In the end, I decided to keep silent about my encounter. Oh my, I can't. That seems unlikely. If he was truly there to get prosecutors, what you say really true? But if that's the case, then why didn't he ask Ajax to come with him to back him up? Why did they hang out there? Unfortunately, it is. But yeah, let's look at Ajax's testimony again. Told him Fletcher was arriving. Ajax got Nail from the sewers when they returned to the lobby. Fletcher was there, and it took Fletcher into the sewers, and Ajax retrieved the police shortly after. I should check the case files often. This can't be right. There has to be a way to prove him wrong. There's a couple things I don't understand. You mentioned you had the sword with you. How'd you get it? I found it on the floor when I searched the bridge canal earlier. I picked it up as it might have been vital evidence. I was bringing it to the lobby when I ran to Ajax, and that explains why he saw me. Oh, I see. Since I realized he'd already covered the sewer passage, I simply turned around. So we were checking the bridge a second time. And why didn't you tell anyone you saw me and Fletcher? In the end, I doubted what I saw. I decided I would go through the proper channels to seek justice. Also, I wanted to give you a chance to defend your actions, but you seem insistent on framing me as the culprit. Conrad, I know he's lying. I have to go back through it and prove him wrong. This is it. This is the final challenge here. I just need to stick the nail in the coffin, so to speak. Your lies end here, Nail, because something doesn't add up. It's true, I ran into Conrad and Fletcher under the bridge. But they seemed out of it. Both seemed to not be in the right mind, desperate to escape the search party. I thought I'd take them both into custody, but they held me at gunpoint. Conrad had taken the pistol that was in the fountain and brought it to the bridge. At the time I was carrying the swords, they had me drop it. But I realized something wasn't right. Their weapon was not functional. After all, it had been in a fountain for days. I assumed correctly and tried to overpower Conrad Forrest, but he fought back. Then I fled back to the airport lobby to bring reinforcements. Right before that, I noticed something very strange. Fletcher was on the ground in the heat of the moment. I didn't understand why. Must have been injured by a duel. Regardless, Conrad stabbed her. It was an act so unimaginable. In the end, I decided to keep silent about my encounter. So he's claiming I killed Fletcher now. I won't let him do that. I need to point out the contradiction and win. He seemed out of it. No drug or sleeping agents. Called the culprit again, but a certain person on the other end was confused. He left Fletcher there, bound by a rope, and went back to the bridge where he met me, drove me to the airport, and then drove back, where he met Flocking. Six 6:30. I'll proceed between 6 and 7. Fletcher was arriving. I threatened to take them both in custody. Conrad had taken the pistol that was in the fountain and brought it to the bridge. At the time I was carrying the sword, so they had me drop it. But I realized something wasn't right. The weapon was not functional. Been in the fountain for days, I assumed correctly, and fought back. And I fled back to the airport lobby to bring reinforcements. Before that, I'd noticed something very strange. Fletcher was on the ground. He doesn't understand why. Sword. An act so unimaginable that I had to reconsider everything. I just had to keep silent for my encounter. Must have been injured by our duel. The autopsy report. Object in the stomach. Prone. What position is prone? 1 minute. Okay, so that's laying on your stomach, and in which case the autopsy report says object in the stomach and there's no exit wound. I'll save here to be safe, but I'm pretty sure we found ourselves the, Hold on, I'm on the right track, but there must be something better I can use to demonstrate what I'm trying to say. Did the defense have an objection? No, Your Honor. Let me think this through again. Conrad. I'm on the right track, but there's something that's better for that. This shows that she wasn't prone. Objection. You just made a bold claim, Nail, but what you said wasn't right. And just what about that was wrong? You killed Fletcher in a story. Oh, it's not that simple, because the bloodstains. Bloodstains? You claimed that I stabbed her while she was prone, correct? Then explain to me how there was blood under the body at the crime scene. What? The stab wound was in the stomach, so if she was on the ground, the wound would have been facing upwards. In other words, no blood would have been underneath her, just above. Well, there would be some, but a lot less, and she'd have much more on her clothing. Oh, but couldn't the blood have simply traveled underneath her? You claim she died on the spot, but then she would have been lifeless. There would have been no room for blood to flow freely. What if the blood passed through her stomach, caused the wound on her back? That's not possible either, and this evidence proves it. Autopsy report. There was no exit wound. The autopsy states very clearly, there was no exit wound. Ah! So why'd you lie, Nail? What are you hiding? I know, it's because Nail's the culprit. No, you have this wrong. She has a point here. You were at the scene of the crime. You had the sword and motive. Ah, you have to understand, I didn't do it. Hold on, let me think here. No, Conrad, I've had enough. Nail's clearly the killer. And why didn't any evidence point to him before? Oh, look at him. He's always wearing gloves. He wouldn't leave any fingerprints. Since he was the lead investigator, nobody would question his authority. He had free reign to tamper with the crime scene. Well, let's run through the case one last time. It started when I confronted Nail on the roof of that building. He told me Sarah was being moved from her holding cell. That's why you wanted to find and intercept the convoy. So you moved to the dining hall parking lot so that you could steal the van. Then I drove the van to my office where I collected several things. Blank, a pistol, the tripod, guarder's keys, and the spear. We assume I took them all to Flower's office. That's when you set up the van to look like a threat was in progress. To stop the convoy, allowing you to fire the pistol remotely. I used the distraction to steal the vehicle Sarah was held in, after knocking out a guard with a spear. Then I drove the vehicle to the town center. Meanwhile, I received a mysterious call. Thorn, welcome back. I figured I'd help this go out once again. But the question remains, who made that call? AC records were wiped until after the incident, but phone records should still have been made by the carrier companies. You are correct, I've already analyzed the data and confirmed that my system was used to make the call to Prince Thorn. Your system? That's what I thought. I must have been the one to make the call. You, but then I ran into you later. I was faking not knowing about the situation. Likely wanted to avoid detection, so I had you help Fletcher escape. I used Ace's functions to modulate my voice. See, so I took Fletcher's vehicle to the airport and tied her hands with rope. Then when I called the culprit, that was you as well? Negative, I had confirmed the second call was redirected. Redirected? Where was it sent? I cannot seem to find a record of that. Redirected, so when Thorn called Ace again, he was actually speaking to... I have evidence that can help point this out. I know who Thorn ended up calling. If I just look through the evidence one more time, I can line this up. Okay, so... At 6:30, he called... but was confused. He left Fletcher there, bound by rope. It meant me. Ajax was called... told him Fletcher was arriving. Ah. Oh, it's trying to ask who did Thorn call. It was redirected to Ajax. It was Ajax. Are you serious, Ajax? Ajax testified he received a call from the culprit before Fletcher arrived. But it wasn't the culprit, it was Thorn. I understand. My call was redirected to Ajax and both ends of the line were modulated. That is a possibility. My programming allows for such a thing to happen. It also explains why the person on the other end was confused. So Thorn called Ajax, which caused him to get nailed. In that short moment when Ajax left the lobby, Thorn moved Sarah. That would mean when I went back to the bridge, where I found you. Then together we moved back to the lobby. By that time he returned, Nail had taken Fletcher to the sewers. So I hid in the security room and waited for Ajax to pass. I cut my hand while crawling through the window and chased after Sarah. Ah, but you grabbed the gun and sorted your way out. Meanwhile, Nail had cut the rope that tied Fletcher's hands and gone ahead. I used that opportunity to meet up with her and hide the passage on the other side then. That's when Fletcher helped him mend your wounds and kept the other half in the club. Wait a moment, Nail found the sword in the bridge canal. Then I guess I must have dropped it before hiding? So I picked it up while searching, thinking it would be evidence. That is when he ran to Ajax. That's when the true incident really happened. Me and Sarah tried to escape, but ran to Nail the bridge canal. You guys must have fought, and Nail had the sword. That's when he stabbed Fletcher. That has to be it. I'm sorry, Nail, there's no other explanation. You escaped the scene, leaving the weapon behind. But wait, why were you there until the next day? And how did you lose your memory? I believe I can explain this. Witnessing the death of Fletcher must have been incredibly difficult on Cross. Under times of duress, it's possible for the brain to block out unwanted memories. So, self-induced, more or less? It's a rare occurrence, but it is possible when a traumatic event happens. Are you absolutely sure? The prosecutor is correct. Someone who blocks out unwanted memories would have a hard time recalling anything near or around the event. That actually happens on a much smaller scale for most people. Things we don't care about or don't like will fall out of our memory naturally. Will Conrad be okay? The process is reversible, but it will take time. I see, Thorn's taking my side. So Conrad passed out due to stress. Nail kept quiet about the incident and waited for the police to find Fletcher. Then shortly before the trial, he moved the body to confuse the investigation. And then he tried to blame it all on Conrad. I believe we've heard enough. Objection. No way, you can't do this. I figured you're a criminal, Nail. You were a legendary prosecutor back in the day, and perhaps this crime was warranted. After all, Fletcher was an armed and dangerous criminal. Unfortunately, you must be punished for your actions. Agreed. We'll now call a vote on the defense verdict. Slow down. We haven't discussed everything quite yet. This is unfair. Don't you understand who I am? Who I work for? We understand quite well. Your organization cannot overstep its bounds. Crimes must not go unpunished. Call them right now. Explain the situation. Understand. Please, they can override this. Not in this court, and not in any court you will face in the future. I shall end this here while you can still answer for your deeds. Now, Counselor Woodman, the verdict on the defense's guilt? Not guilty. How? Come on, we can do this. And Crawford? This is a tough decision. Please listen, you can't end this here, you can't. Not guilty. Sentence is decided, but I believe the defendant has a right to know my vote as well. Not guilty. I did it! On charge of murder, we find the defendant innocent. The defendant is cleared of all charges. Yes, Conrad! I knew we could do it, you're one smart defense attorney. During the incident, it appears you committed several other crimes, however, such as theft and assault on convoy bar. But those shall be tried in a different court. For now, you are free to go. Please put Prosecutor Nail in restraints. We will determine his sentence at a later hearing. Thank you all for assisting in this test run of the autonomous case evaluation. Court dismissed. That was a lot shorter than I was expecting, but honestly, I'd rather it be a short yet powerful trial rather than an extended one. I mean, as much as I do like the Ace Attorney series, I have to admit some cases went on way, way longer than they needed to, so if the writers felt a shorter but more impactful case is better, I think that was the right call. You did, I can't believe it! You really, I had no hope I'd make it, did you? We believed in you from the beginning, Conrad. Thank you all so much. We were happy to help. Hey, you really had a rough couple of days, Cross. Tell me about it. I'm sorry that Fletcher's gone. At least the killer will pay for his actions. I still can't believe Nail was hiding something so sinister. He seemed to think he had a motive back there. Why was that? Nail's organization used Sarah for her intelligence. They wanted to keep her silent about her mission. She built ASOL because they made her do it, and they blamed her for stealing the Zero data, even though they needed it themselves. That is despicable. There's one thing I can look forward to. The ones behind the scenes, Nail's organization, they reveal themselves and one of their members is locked away. I have a feeling we won't truly know the whole story until we can take them down. They were the root of everything and we don't even know their name. Let's work hard as we can to uncover the truth. Hey, that's what we do anyways, right? But now we're doing it together. I've made a lot of enemies on my journey, but I've made even more friends. If it wasn't for them, I'd be in jail right now. If it wasn't for them, this could have turned out way worse. Alright, go team, not guilty. What a terrible name. How about DJ Dare and the Double Do-Gooders? No, it should be Lucky Lawyers, Defense for All. Now we're on borderline copyright infringement. We can settle this debate on over lunch. Over for me? Ah, we can't let you do that. Why not? The country of England shall pay for our meal. Talk about calling in favors. Then it's settled. Come on, comrade. Yeah, it's time to finally relax. It was all over. The madness, the danger. Those terrible people, the nuclear threat, the betrayals. It ended. The story was about to end as well. I was actually originally going to call the last episode the nuclear option, since that's a phrase that can refer to the most extreme response to something possible. But upon thinking about that, I thought, probably not the most tactful term, so I changed it to extreme measures. Functionally the same. Sadly, not as good of a pun, but less likely to make YouTube and Twitch angry. All the mysteries have been solved. There's still one that I had yet to reveal. Of course, I knew the answer all along, but taking you on this journey was never about what I knew. It was about what you knew, and what I'm about to show you the truth. That will solve the last mystery. One final truth, one final test, the only one that matters in this story. Can you pass it? Sting. Well, this is where it happened. Right down there is where the final mystery began. The mystery of what really happened to Sarah. You know, don't you? You've already figured out the answer. Then show me what you know. Who really did it? Who killed Sarah? Pass this test and prove yourself. Think carefully, you need to do this. You need to find the truth yourself, or else anything I show you will be meaningless. Hold her. Oh, was it Sarah herself? I thought, well, it seems odd for Connor to black out. It could be possible he blacked out because he himself did it. Then again, He's been behind everything. But at the same time, Sarah Fletcher might have taken herself out simply because that would have forced Nail to take it. Which means... No, Sarah wouldn't do that. There's a different monster here waiting to be unleashed. That's... was correct, then. That is the answer. It was me. I've known for a while now, but I never really wanted to accept it. Facing it in person was so much more difficult than I thought. What Thorne said was probably true. My memory was lost due to stress. But it returned all too quickly. In fact, I've known since Chloe investigated here. But even then, I couldn't realize that what I did was wrong. It never seemed like a crime, just something that had to be done. I killed Sarah, and then after the deed was done, I moved the body using the crane. You wanna know how I did it? Skylar had mentioned a new device he was working on. It could control vehicles through cell phone signals. Oh, that's right. Only ever needed to call in a few favors, set up the mechanisms for the incident. Then I controlled the crane remotely using a phone call from the detention center. Nobody would suspect a thing. After all, how could I have operated the crane when I was locked up? Well, they would have confiscated the phone. It was a perfect cover, but the crime itself, I never thought I'd be in this position. What am I going to show you isn't an excuse for my actions, but it should give you some insight into why it had to be this way. In the sewers, when I had from Ajax and the police search, I ran into Sarah. Sarah, you're alright. Conrad, how? Why'd you do this? You interrupted the convoy. Nail's gone insane. He wants to lock you up for good. You can't let him do that. Conrad, don't you know this is what I want? But you can't accept that. This is the organization. They'll do anything to achieve their selfish goals. Conrad, you don't understand. You're a being, one that I care for. I don't want to lose you. Did Nail really cut the rope around your hands? Yes, you went to the bridge. And we have to hurry. Ajax is going to be back with the police any second. I don't want to do this. You have to. I've done everything. I've struggled so much to keep you here. You can't leave now. Where would we go? You'll become a criminal just like me. I've covered my tracks. They won't know. They don't have to know. I can hide you somewhere. We can do this. We don't have to live by their rules. Don't you remember when we were kids? We'd go after the bad guys. We know the bad guys are now. We can work against them together. Help me. Help everyone in the city. They need us. We need to stop the organization for good. I don't get it. The whole picture. But you're right. This can't continue. So are you with me? Yes, you've given me an opportunity to make up for my mistakes. You shouldn't have done this. You're my friend, and you always will be. No matter what. Let's go, quickly. We eventually end up hiding in the other passageway. It's a dead end, but it served well to keep us from the police. Ah, your hands. Huh? Oh. Here, use this. I'll help you. Oh, you can cut the cloth of that knife. Thank you. That should be better. Don't crawl through glass again. What's wrong? You just reminded me of the Sarah I used to know, the one that was always ready to help those in need. I deserve to be branded a criminal. No, they need to give you a chance. You're not a bad person. That's why this has to have been so shocking to me. They changed everything. There's no time. We can't stay here forever. We need to find a better place to hide. Let's go. We made a grave mistake. Damn. Conrad, you went so fool. How could you do this? Please, just stop. Don't put that sword down, I'll shoot. Just calm down. Pay for your crimes. How could you say that? Fletcher's not guilty. You can't do this. Don't take her away. The argument lasted far too long. Eventually, Nail dropped the sword. Alright, just listen to me. That gun doesn't work, does it? What do you mean? Found in the fountain in the airport, right? The water will have worn out the mechanism by now. So tell me, are you really going to shoot me? Ah! We fought and fought. Eventually, Sarah stepped in after grabbing the sword. Enough, just go away! Nail fled the scene. We were in a panic. It's gonna bring the police here. We have to hurry, quick. Let's go, come on. Conrad, I can't. This is the end for me. I didn't understand. Nail, he knows I've tried to run away. He won't hold back. Run now, he can't hold back. Get out of this, we can do something. They'll find us, they always do. You don't understand what they can do. And I don't deserve to go on. What are you talking about? Of course you do. Everything was all my fault. I'm the one who poisoned Nail during the Gardner case. Huh? I'm the one who gave Gardner the tripod contraption. I convinced him to murder Daniel Yard. How? Why? Yard financed the Zero project, don't you remember? I went through everything to get the Zero data so I could complete my project. That's why Skylar replaced Yard. Hold on a minute, Skylar? That's right, his donations to government projects. One of them was the preservation of the Zero data. This allowed him to get up close and steal it. He was supposed to deliver it to me. He was working with you, but of course it was merely a fake, but we couldn't have known. And your plan to steal a drive from the Bank of Prosperity, all of it was so you could steal the data. Do you get it now? Everything you've done in the last 2 years, it's all my fault. All those deaths, that's why you have to kill me. I was speechless. If you do that, the organization will take a huge hit. I could care less about them. How could you say that? There's something else. I don't have long to live. What? I'm going to die, and I know this is sudden, but if I leave here alive, they'll find us and hurt us. That's why you have to do it. You have to kill me and get away with it. What are you saying? There will be a trial for my death, but you have to plead innocent. You can pass off your actions wanting to free me from the organization. You'll need a fake memory loss so you have an alibi. I can't. Alright, so he meant to fake his memory loss, but it ended up being real for a little short period of time. Interesting. Listen to me, you have to pin this crime on someone else. If you can do that, the organization won't have any loose ends. That's how you can make it out of this alive. No, stop. Conrad, you have to do this for me. So do it, come on. No. Don't you see, this is what I want. You don't have to be upset with yourself. You're doing the right thing. Please, come on, do it. The villain here, I'm behind it all. I poisoned your mentor, I arranged Yard's death. I stole from the bank, I killed Ground. No, he jumped himself. That was a lie, I did push him. I killed Vilmar. Too, it was all me, so do it. Serve justice. I'm a criminal. This is what you've been doing all your life. So do it. Kill me. Give me my sentence. Ah. In that moment, it didn't matter if what she said was true or not. It really doesn't matter who killed Vilmar Ground. Sarah didn't have long to live. In truth, I had already suspected it. She had a disease for most of her life. She suffered from it, actually. But I ignored it years ago. It wasn't real for me then. That's why I hadn't seen her in so long. When she moved away to get medical help, I had already said my goodbyes. She was quietly suffering all this time, and I didn't even care. That's why, at least if she died there... In that case, she could have pretty much stabbed herself, and it would have still worked. Although I guess that would have been possible to gauge. Well, none of that matters now. The answers don't matter, just the question. The truth doesn't matter, just the perception. The history doesn't matter, just the memory. Right here is where she died. She wanted it, she begged for it. But that was by my hand that she was murdered. The strange thing is, I don't regret it in the slightest. I'll never forget Sarah, I'll never forget what she taught me. You learned it too, right? The law, it doesn't matter. When desperate times come to pass, the law is nothing. In that moment, I was the judge, not the attorney. I decided that she would die, that's why I can live with myself. She was trying to teach me. Stand any chance against Nail's organization. And we need someone who can work above the law. This is actually an interesting thing to bring up. Even Grady's attorney had to resort to extreme measures to prevent the criminal from getting away. That's the only way to take down something so powerful. We need someone who doesn't play by the rules of the world. That person is you. Oh, the player. So, will you help me? Honestly, I'm not very good at final thoughts on a game when the credits are going, but I will say this has definitely had a lot of intrigue. It had a lot of intrigue and deduction. The graphics are pretty minimal, and yeah, there's no hiding that I was a bit off-put by them at first, I'm not going to lie. They did grow on me, and I think the fact that they used exaggerated expressions and stuff was what did a lot to help. Oh, are these the test rooms where they test the backgrounds and pose and stuff? Yeah, it did do a good job of capturing the whole larger-than-life aspect of Ace Attorney games, while also feeling a bit more grounded and doing a lot with world building, since they actually go out of their way to explain why the courts feel more like a showy thing rather than a... Oh, interesting. So from a development perspective, the crime scenes were all basically right next to one another. I guess that makes sense. Was Conrad truly right in what he did in the end? Perhaps that's something I'll probably definitely be musing over for a while, and that's a good thing. A game that makes you think, gets a discussion, especially one like this, I'd say it's pretty good. I'm glad there's some indie games that are continuing on the grand tradition of these stories, while also not feeling like it's just... Like, it didn't just feel like they were copy and pasting stuff from Ace Attorney directly. I mean, yeah, the inspiration's clearly there, but it genuinely felt like its own thing the whole way through. I won't mind if they make a sequel, although perhaps having another lawyer, or rather than continuing Conrad's story, wouldn't go amiss if they do. Especially because everyone's supported me. I've spent countless of 100 hours of this project to give me my life to make this game, as whether you enjoyed my game or not, by my heart. Thank you for playing. Ah, but they never did reveal what that sword was. Or why Conrad couldn't read it. It must have been a... I guess it must... could be something intended to reveal later, or it simply isn't relevant for the moment. Statistics. Oh, total penalty. Ouch. I'm guessing, since it says 21 penalties, I'm not sure if it... I'll have to check, but I'm not sure if it's remembering the ones that I reset for. Main reason because I was worried the final case would be a lot more rough. Some of the Ace Attorney games that have beaten me, and even this one pretty much did during the ones with Trey. It's nice seeing someone actually get a breakdown like that. Not too many of them have it, but that's fine. And I think what matters is that the deductions and the reveals are sufficiently climactic, and it did feel very climactic. Alright. Oh, nice, almost 2 hours, so we had a pretty good amount of time. Alright, not sure if I'll go to the next game right away after this one, or if I'll do some more filler with another one, but until next time, thank you for watching, hope you had a good time, and I'll see you later.